Happy Friday, everyone. It's Friday, September 11th. It's kind of like a lab day for us, and we surely don't get enough of those. So, hopefully, you have set your lab up and you can just listen for a little bit and wait to see what's next. The first thing you're going to do is go and set up your lab. And it's best results if you can wait as long as you can. So, if you can wait overnight, but 30 or 40 minutes will be fine. Once you have your lab set up, you need to hop down and watch the osmosis video that will help you answer your lab questions. Um, Also, you need to pull up the movement of water reading, and that also is going to help you with writing your lab. And that's going to talk about isotonic, hypertonic, and hypotonic. If you look at the pictures, isotonic, we're putting carrots in salt water. If something is in isotonic, the particles outside in the water are the same as inside the carrot. If something is hypertonic, that means that the concentration of particles outside the carrot and the water are going to be greater than inside the carrot. If a solution is hypotonic, then that means that the solution or the water is less concentrated than the carrot. So you will need those to read that up before you can finish with the lab. So I'm going to quickly set it up. You are going to need 4 cups or baggies. You're going to need a water only. You're going to one where you place a half a cup or a half a teaspoon of salt, and one that you are putting in a teaspoon of salt, and one that you're putting in 2 teaspoons. If you look over here on my back table, I have a half a teaspoon, and 2 teaspoons right there. And this is going to be my water only. So I'm going to add a cup of, I'm going to actually do a half a cup of water in each one of these, like this. So I'm putting the water in, and you need to make sure that the water is the same amount of water. You want to control that variable. And then I am going to put in no salt in this one, a half a teaspoon of salt in this one teaspoon in the one that's marked 1 teaspoon, and 2 teaspoons in the one that's marked 2 teaspoons. Then I'm going to gently stir each of them. I don't need to stir the last one because there isn't any salt. Then I need to add 2 carrots to each of them. I'm putting smaller pieces of carrots in there. You may use celery for this also. If you don't have carrots, it will work exactly the same. So we're going to leave those sit overnight, and then you're going to answer these questions. How have the carrots changed? How are the carrots different in each bag? You could use a baggie instead of a cup instead. How do carrots feel when you bend them? Then, after reading the article, you're going to answer these questions. So, once you're finished with that, you will submit it up at the top under Bend a Carrot, right here under Assignments. It's taking a little bit of time. Bend the Carrot. You will upload that document to me. I think that should be about everything. So you're going to start by setting up your experiment, watching the video, waiting, 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 read the article, and then you are going to re-look at all of your setup of each of the carrots. One that's in 0 salt, one that's in a half a teaspoon of salt, one that's in a teaspoon of salt, and one that's in 2 teaspoons of salt. You need the same amount of water. I used a half a cup. I said in the directions a cup, but you can only use a half. That would be fine. The most important thing is that every cup has the same amount of water or baggie, and that would be a controlled variable. My controlled variables in this experiment are going to be the cup, the water, and the kind of carrot. My manipulated variable or my independent variable is the thing the scientists messed with. I messed with the amount of water. Okay? The dependent variable is what happens. What happens? What happens is what's the carrot going to be like? How bendable? How much salt got in that? So we're doing this experiment to see the effect that a cell membrane has on an organism. So it's up to the cell membrane whether it's going to let that salt in or out of the carrot. So we're going to kind of see how well the carrot cell membrane works with that. Okay? I think that would be all for today. Don't forget, if you weren't able to set it up, we are going to put a video on here, which will be underneath, which will be our results of the carrot lab. So you can look at that to fill this out just in case you weren't able to set up the lab yourself. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday.